Move on to the last boss of the show.
Dark Paladin.
All right. So in this round, I'm going to be asking a question, then Ron will be asking the next question. We're going to be alternating. So that's the first question here. It says, you're launching a third game by the end of 2025. Rapid 3-game IP expansion. Looking at other studios' franchise attempts, what specific lessons from successes and failures guide your multi-game strategy?
Yeah.
It's kind of a hefty question.
Well, it's one that I'm very familiar with because we've discussed that a lot internally, is like, how do we be different? And to be clear, in Web 2, this model works very well and it's very normal, right? Studios many times have multiple titles. It's in Web 3 that it seems to, a lot of teams will say, we're going to build an ecosystem of games to FOMO people into that, but they've never even delivered one good game. And so they're like, hey, we're going to build like 5 amazing titles. And here's all this stuff's coming. It's like, well, how about you just ship one to show that you can actually make a fun game, right? And so we wanted to take a different approach and show first, hey, here's Ravenquest. Here's a special game that, a certain audience is going to absolutely love. And now here's ravenidle, and continue to show what we're able to do and show that we're able to make an actual compelling ecosystem of games. And so again, in the Web 2 side, this model isn't too outlandish or anything, and nor is it in Web 3, but people just don't know how to deliver one. And I've said one of the biggest issues I see with Web 3, or what has led to this point, is it's a lot of people that know how to raise money, but not a lot of people who actually know how to make a game. And so they start a studio and it's just completely lackluster, insane spending, no direction. And it's because they knew how to raise the money, but they didn't know actually how to do the part that they had to do with that money. And I think it's why VCs have almost completely pulled out of Web3. And because they're like, most of these people don't actually have that foundation. And it was a huge edge for us coming in the space, having a 11-year history of making games and being able to move in and be like, hey, we can show this. And showing it with Ravenquest was the first step, and ravenidle will be the second.
Oh, he's muted again. This is great. He does it every episode.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I do it in meetings too.
Oh man.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say I did I loved what you said about like a lot of these people that are building in this space haven't really done it, and it shows, right? And then you guys come along, you guys know what you're doing and stuff. It shows as well. It shows who's really like trying to build here and who's like trying to extract, in my opinion. But
no, absolutely.
I think there's a lot of value what you just said right there.
Yeah, and the reality is like a lot of people like put Web3 in this like bubble almost, where it's like blockchain integration can be very seamless. Like anyone can log in and play Ravenquest and never once need to know a single thing about blockchain. And if they then want to learn about that and have that as like an added part to it, they can, but it's a game, right? And they just happen to be able to do that as well later. And I think that we're going to see that line blurred a lot. And we already see it where people are arguing like, this isn't like fully Web3. And it's like this like cult thing almost. It's like, but why do you want it to be? Like, what is it? Is it for your own like purity test or something? Like, it's so odd because like, you're blocking off a huge demographic and you're making that bubble like very closed off, which is not a good idea. And it's like, I get it from like our team versus their team, or we even see with chains where chains like, oh, I'm, a Ronin guy. And it's like, why not just go where there's a fun game to be played? Right.
Exactly.
Why does it matter? And so I hope that we see Web3 continue to move towards that, to understand that like there's really cool parts about blockchain, the player-to-player trading, being able to do that outside the game, all those kind of things. Those are so cool. But you don't need to also then like be like, you have to have a wallet, you have to do this, everything has to be on chain. It's like, no, just use the good parts about it, get out the crap that makes onboarding harder, and you have a good product. And so I hope people like come around to that and realize they don't need to be so cultish on like the Web3 purity test crap. It's the weirdest shit to see, and it just screams people, because I even see big creators doing this. It screams people that have really no experience with game development or anything related to games. There's just no way, because they would never say those things.
I agree. And like the biggest personalities, they don't just follow like Xbox or just PlayStation. They follow all of gaming, right?
And that cult thing, like for Xbox versus PlayStation, it was fun. You know, I remember it back in, it was like 2006, 2007, that was at its strongest. But ultimately, like if one comes out, like if the next Xbox comes out and it's better, get that one. Don't bleed blue for PlayStation. Like just buy the better console.
Yeah.
And it should be the same with games and chains. Like if this game is fun, it's on another chain, don't feel like you're like sinning by not playing it because it's on another chain. Like, dude, go have fun, go play a game. Like, what do you mean? Like you don't owe that chain anything, right? Yeah.
They probably owe you something more than likely.
Exactly.
Missed claim, airdrop window, went back to the community pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if you needed like $100, could you like message that chain and say, hey, I need $100? You're like they don't give a shit, right? Like that, like, and again, like we love, like as a company that works with Immutable, like we're very close with Immutable and we like them a ton. But ultimately, as like a gamer, like go where you want to play a game. Who cares what chain they're on, right? Yeah.
Agreed.
You know what's wild is playing in this space the longest time, and I'm gonna use cuss words here. This is how I feel. I don't give a fuck what chain the game is on as long as it hits. I got to this point, but remember, we used to be ostracized for saying we just want a fun game with the great loop. Oh yeah, well then why are you even in Web3? It's not a Web3 game. Da, da, da. All these gaming purists are like, they're like the BTC maxis. It's like, shut the fuck up. I get it. Yeah, you want to do all this. You want to be virtual signal immutably. I get it. It's weird in Web 2 and you're doing it in Web 3. Stop virtue signaling. You guys need better shit.
And to be clear, like there's people that do it with Immutable as well. And again, we really like Immutable. We speak very highly of them. But at the same time, like we also think that's weird. Like you can speak highly of Immutable, but like if there's a great game on another chain that you want to play, go play it. Don't feel like you owe something and you're not allowed to or whatever. But at the same time, like even the like Web3 people just want a fun game. We've learned that like there is like the 1% of real ones that do. They're gamers first. The other stuff comes along. We very quickly, that like bubble burst for us when we moved into Web3 and launched, when we saw creators that, and not many of them, but a few of them, that like on their tier list and all that stuff, they put us like number 1 or like S tier, all this kind of stuff. And then when we released and they saw they weren't like earning an insane amount, because we just didn't think that like nuclear arms race of play to earn rewards was sustainable, and it hasn't been shown sustainable, and we want to take a different approach, they immediately started talking crap about us and not even including us on tier lists anymore. And we're like, oh, that changed really fast. And then the next day they're like, we just want a fun game. It's like, well, you said we are the funnest game in Web3 and suddenly you hate us because you're not getting a bag on. It's like it was very odd. And while there are the real ones that I can tell just by the way they talk about games that they do care about a fun game, there's also a lot that say that, and it's like a branding thing, right? It's like, hey, we're a real one, and it's like, no, you're not, because the second you're not getting the bag on one, you suddenly don't care, right?
I'll to the next one. That's what they do.
You're only as good as your last airdrop, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Community.
And to be clear, like if that's their goal, like more power to them. There's nothing wrong with that either. But don't like send one messaging that you really don't act with or show in any of your actions, right? Just be transparent. Say, hey, man, I want to go farm and make a bunch of money. Sick, man. Like, who doesn't want to work hard and make money in anything they do, right? Or you know, like there's nothing wrong with that, but don't do this weird thing where you're trying to get like gamer cred when really you don't back that up.
Yeah. Niter says, quit LARPing, bro.
Yeah. That's a way shorter way of saying it. Thank you for summing me up, because I do ramble.
Yeah, speaking of, that's okay. We all ramble here. And speaking of ramble, I want to make sure we get to some of the comments here in the chat. I'm so sorry, Bunny Meow. I think this was the Boss 3 intro. My eardrums. I get it.
Yeah.
It was kind of loud.
Same, Bunny.
Yeah, and then we also have over here, I think this was talking about the arena thing, like in Albion, have a chance to trash the items when dropped. That's a good one here. And then we got Billion Football. The models having multiple titles, having issues where the early system cost to invest in each to compete or become mediocre in multiple? How do you make it cross-compatible to provide value from one to another, or will they be treated as separate entities with very, very minor ties across? And that's a great question.
No, that's a fantastic question. Like, you're really looking at that from like a studio head position, right? Like, what is the benefit to making multiple titles, right? And we really see it as I kind of talked earlier in the pod about it, but just really strong cross-pollination, right? So how do we make sure that we're releasing ecosystem titles that don't demographically clash with each other? For example, if we made like another just straight up MMORPG like Ravenquest, that would make no sense, right? We're just competing with ourselves, but with a huge added cost. So really looking at like, how do we capture different demographics and help cross-pollinate them? And I think like Blizzard and Riot have done this exceptionally well, obviously on a much bigger scale. They're gigantic studios, but they've done a really good job of this, right? How do we get like the MOBA crowd? How do we get, well, that was one they missed on, but how do we get the TCG crowd, right? And the amount of people that play Hearthstone and they're like, oh, this universe is kind of cool. I've been wanting to try an MMO. Maybe I'll try WoW in the next expansion, right? So really looking at that and how do they complement each other really well. And then the second part there is really the cost to invest. We have experience building games. We know what we're doing. We made sure this wasn't us, going to a project that was going to be $1 million sink and risk. We wanted to build something out small, and that's kind of what we want to do with our ecosystem titles, like build kind of concepts out and then see like what really take off and what should we lean into building out more. And it allows us to, like, something that I've been saying a lot with new stuff with the team is like the aim small, miss small thing, where it's like, you do a low risk on it. If it ends up being great, okay, build it out further from there, instead of taking that huge risk up front and then it not panning out. And you're like, well, we shouldn't have spent the last 3 years building that. And I think most can see like how quickly we turned around with ravenidle. And that was with like a team that was doing it kind of like on the side, like not their full commitment. Now they are fully in-house, but like we built out something pretty quick there and pretty special. So
nice. I'm gonna keep it pushing on here to the next question. That was great. By the way, we've got some other great comments in the chat, but I also want to keep the show flowing. But I will get to you guys in the chat, so keep them coming. Question 2, boss number 3, oh, we kind of talked about this, but Ravenidle launches on Immutable while Ravenquest runs independently. How does this multi-chain approach affect your architecture? And will you bridge assets between games or keep separate ecosystems?
He's just incorrect on the question. Ada knows, but Ravenquest and Ravenidle are actually both on Immutable.
Both on Immutable.
So you can use your same passport for both of them. And also, again, you can actually link your account as well. So when you make a Ravenidle account, we will have login with Quest. We just weren't able to get it like fully sound for season 0, but you're able to just create an account and then you can actually just link it to your Ravenquest account. So the things that you unlock, like with Ravenidle, we have a premium battle pass, but we also have a free battle pass, and there's tons of stuff that you can unlock in the free that will not only be for your Ravenidle character, but you'll also get them on your Ravenquest character. And the same is for landowners. If you have land in Ravenquest, you don't need to like move it to another game or anything like that. Just linking your account, it'll automatically recognize that you have land in your Ravenquest account, and you'll get those benefits on Ravenidle as well. And that'll be for all of our ecosystem games. Like no friction there, being able to use kind of that one master account for all of them, and also not have to like move your assets around, because we think that's like one of the worst things that people who are building out an ecosystem is like, okay, you can only use it in one game at a time, which we understand why they do that, because they're hoping people buy multiple of them. But ultimately, it makes for an awful user experience, and you can't really play both then confidently without constantly moving your assets back and forth. So,
all right, no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to get the next question here to Hato.
All right, next question says the idle RPG market is saturated. Melver idle, adventure capitalist variants everywhere. Beyond Web3 integration, what gameplay innovation pulls players from established idle games they've invested hundreds of hours into?
So reality is every single genre in gaming is saturated. We moved into MMORPG development, and the first thing is it's an incredibly saturated market. It's very hard to build out an MMORPG. We've done great in it. I think if you know what you're doing and you feel like you're making a compelling game for a certain type of demographic, it's going to do well. And we've seen that with the Ravenidle signups. Like we were like, hey, if we hit 10,000 accounts, that'll be sick. We blew past that and it hasn't even dropped yet. So we've seen a very positive reception there. But the reality is every single genre in gaming is, you would consider, very saturated. But the cream rises to the top. And if you build a strong gameplay loop and something that people find compelling and build off that, you'll be good.
Absolutely. I want to let the chat know that the poll is live. This is the final boss. Get your votes in. Let us know how Nider is doing on the final boss. Kicking the next question over to Ramen.
You should have done that in your sports commentator voice, but okay. I'm just kidding. We're on the
What voice was that, Ramen? What voice was that?
I don't know, whichever one your sports commentator voice is. That would have been really cool. I'm looking for that Hotto arc. All right, next question. If other studios copy this community-funded prize pool model, how do you maintain competitive advantage? And what prevents prize pool inflation from making individual rewards meaningless?
Okay, second part of that question, I'm going to need some clarity on, because I'm not 100% sure what they're asking. If other studios copy something of ours, more power to them. There's, like we've always said, Ravenquest is like a Frankenstein of all the things that we loved in other MMOs that we played over 2 decades, and then taking out the things that we didn't like from those systems. I think you should be inspired by other games and the way they do things. I don't think it's like, we've had like direct copycats of our games where they literally like rip assets from the client and stuff like that. And we've always said we'll always be one step ahead, and that's how we'll keep our advantage over them, right? And but I also think like games should take ideas from other games, and obviously not like a blatant rip off or like literally just making the exact same thing and calling it, ravenidle 2 or something like that. But if they see our prize pool structure and the way we do like our earning loop, and they're like, oh, that's a cool idea, sweet, like we're happy to lead the path on that. And that's how we'll be every step of the way. Even when we did our play to unlock, we had so many other studios that messaged us and they're like, shit, we wish we would have done that. That's so brilliant, because now those players are going to want to come back and play, and they're actually getting more rewards for doing so, but they're not just going to disappear. And when we did that, we were like, hey, like, this is very different. We're going to get some pushback. We knew we would, and we did. But ultimately, the amount of other studios are like, we would never say this, but we think that's a brilliant model, and we wish we would have done it. And so, I think it's good to pave the way and take risks. And if other people copy that because it's successful, sweet. Maybe we have like a better earning loop model. Maybe it's beneficial for Web3 long term.
No, absolutely. Banger answer. And speaking of banger answers and stuff from the thing, I just want to show there are people out here like me that don't even care about the Web3 part of Raven. We just want to play a fun MMO. God bless your little heart. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. We just want to play some games. Give us the loot, not the loot. Right? Hey, that's a good show name.
We've noticed that even doing like AMAs, the amount of people that are like, we're talking about like, token stuff or land stuff, and they're all like, hey, can you just like talk about the game? And we're like, that is the biggest piece of praise ever. Because like even if you go into our Discord and go into like the tavern, like all discussion is in either a tavern or there's an exclusive landowner chat. And it's just talking about the game all day. And then you go into a lot of Web3 game Discords, and 99% is around like earning or the token or whatever. And we just realized like that's not the community we want to build. That's not a community that's ever going to stay around. Yeah.
Great. Great.
Definitely
I'm going to keep this back out of.
Yeah, it definitely builds the fandom of like just want to get more information on the game and stuff. And
yeah.
I'm sure people are like already doing like fan art or some sort of like fan art.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It is the craziest compliment, though.
It is. Yeah.
Sure. Next question says, given Ravenquest complexity and ravenidle simplicity, your third game represents the middle point. Is that revealing too much? What complexity level are you targeting? Closer to the depth or accessibility?
I feel like they're literally in our studio meetings, because that is like exactly the philosophy that we have, is that Ravenquest is like one far side of the spectrum, ravenidle the other, and then our next thing that we're cooking up is like in the middle. So it's definitely like mechanically, it's not an MMO, so it's not like mechanically as deep as that, but really we wanted to build out another thing that's like very easily accessible, but then like insane depth. And it's actually, I'm not going to share too much on it yet, but it's actually inspired. If anyone knows this game, it's actually probably no one will know, 'cause I don't think I've shared this publicly, but it's inspired by a game that I absolutely love. Very simple game, but very deep and a very fun game. Actually, I'll just share it. We'll drop the alpha.
Hey, let's do it.
Where the name is placeholder. It's called Monk Packs, but it's actually building out a trade pack with a monk, and it's inspired by backpack battles. So essentially, it's a ghost board PvP game where you build out a board and you like it's kind of like a little bit of a puzzle element to it, like how the items support each other, and there's like a shot phase between each round. If you haven't played backpack battles, highly recommend it. Very fun game, and that was a lot of the inspiration for our third title.
There you go, chat.
Absolutely.
Got another little leak of alpha right there.
The alpha flows through us.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm making stupid Star Wars references nobody cares about anymore. All right, last question, boss. Number 3. Let's go. I don't know why I said it like that, but looking at the broader Quest token ecosystem, Ravenquest established the token through complex MMORPG mechanics, and now ravenidle introduces it to casual idle gamers. With your third game coming this year, how does Quest utility evolve across multiple game types? And what's the long-term vision for creating a unified token economy that serves both hardcore MMORPG players and casual mobile gamers without diluting value for either group? I can read that twice too if you need me to.
No, that's perfect. That's really why with our ecosystem games, like, you know, what we would never want to do is like ravenidle, like you play and just every day you're getting printed quests or something like that, right? Because what's going to happen is what some Web3 groups have gone down, where you now have like 2 games that one is going to be maybe a little bit better for earning, and then the other game kind of gets abandoned. They're like killing themselves off by that, right? Because let's say ravenidle, people were earning twice as much. They'd be like, oh, leave Ravenquest, come play ravenidle because you'll earn more, right? And so that's why we're doing kind of different reward pool structures in each of them, so they're not cross-competing like that, right? And so with our third one, we already actually have a model built out for it. But we do really like the risk to earn model. We think it's a very strong model, especially if done right. And ravenidle is really just the first taste of what we're building out there. But yeah.
Got it. That's going to wrap
Not
it
sure if
up.
I missed some of that question, or did I hit it well? If there's something feel free.
Well, we're going to figure that out based on the scores from the poll. So folks, make sure you go out there and you go vote. It's not up to me. I can't. Yeah, I only vote if you pay money. We didn't get any inside of our wallet, so I can't cast a vote for you, my friend. But I am going to get to some of these questions that were here in the chat. And he gone. Is he getting my airdrop ready?
I can't face possibly losing a boss fight. Okay, I can't. No, I just close.
This is up to your community. It's on their. It's up to.
Well, then I'm screwed. I see a couple staff names in here, so I know they're voting against me.
Well, staff don't count. Staff don't count. Unless you get staff infection, that counts. That's crazy. Billion Football. We all want to believe and have faith in our passion projects. Do you have internal goals for how long to maintain an X numbered player base before considering the title a success? 5, 10 year, etc. What is a realistic expectation for your team?
Yeah, so I would say, like, for us, I mean, we already consider what we've done a massive success. We know what we set out to do. We exceeded the numbers that we expected. The retention is a number that we know we're very sustainable and in a very good spot. And we also are a well-diversified studio. Like, we do have Web 2 parts of the studio as well. And you know, we're a larger studio, so us making sure that we have a well-diversified path forward is very important to us. But on top of that, like, whenever we talk about MMORPGs, I think every MMO, their goal is to be around for many, many years to come. And it's surprising how many, like Albion, I think, is an incredible example of this. When Albion Online first released, it went for about a year and it basically had like no players left. It was pretty much dead. And then they released some pretty big updates. They I believe at the time they dropped on Steam, and they saw a massive resurgence, and they did like a fresh start world and all these things. And now Albion's like a pretty household MMORPG name, and it's in a really good spot. And I think that's the beautiful part about MMOs is they don't just kind of have one release, like dropping like the next FIFA or something like that, right? They're able to do really strong catalysts because of the nature of the genre. And I think for anyone making an MMO, your goal is like, how does this become the next legacy MMO, right? How does this stand, around for 10, 20, 30 years? And we're positioned very well to do that. Yeah.
All I heard was strong and catalyst in the same sentence, and my brain was like, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
We are.
Nailed it. The plug.
Yes, we are. All right. Thank you so much for everybody there in the chat with more, but we're going to get on to the results. Ganato's giving me the eyes.